Hey Doomers, welcome to October 2024. We're glad to have you. And a special thanks to Melinda McGinnis for throwing a few extra bucks to this channel, along with Diane Wilson and the rest of you for hitting the like button. So what's happening in the world? It's warm and fiery. Iran just launched ballistic missiles at Israel, perhaps igniting a regional war and leading us down the path of World War III. Because these psychos don't care about us. In fact, South Korea just unveiled their new missile that can target underground nuclear sites in North Korea. Ukraine claims North Korea is being buddy-buddy with Russia, which they naturally reject. Dengue fever is spreading in mosquitoes in California, so you gotta watch out for that on the West Coast. The oceans are yet again in record warm territory, matching last year's El Nino highs. I ask you to consider what it would take to cool the oceans or to decline methane emissions. Wishful thinking. I know we can write books about it and seem special, but it just ain't happening. Asia is also experiencing record warmth along with northern Australia. Julian Assange, did I say that right? Pleaded guilty to journalism. I made sure I said that right? So that he could be set free. There's a debate tonight, which I'm sure all of you are tuned into because Vance is just beyond words. I could think of so many things to say. Disgusting. And Waltz is just another boomer. It'll change your hopes and dreams, right? Give you something to look forward to this election season. Many channels are advising one prep because of the aftermath of Helene being fresh on everyone's mind, wiping out the city of Asheville, North Carolina, of which I have never been, but have heard about. People are in dire straits situation there with no electricity and water, and yet another example of our warming world. Meanwhile, as people's houses float away, they are in denial. Not everyone. I'm not that much of a cynic. The evidence for rapid planetary warming is all around us. We're witnessing that. As aforementioned, the oceans and cryosphere. Russian jets intercepted U.S. carriers, or the other way around, in the Arctic. And NATO's new president is claiming superior backing to Ukraine, which would only upset Russia more. I seem to have missed the story about Russia shipping a fertilizer cargo ship to London or having it staged thereabouts to its nuclear facilities. Slipped right by me. A friend brought it to my attention, but I should put that forward. Sounds like there's a car coming, which is rare. But it's about 70 degrees or so, dipping down in the 40s next week, overnight. Still very warm for this time of year. Locals would say it's going to be a warm November. I'm going to hold off for a second while this car passes. Okay, just some looky-loos. Deadpool and Wolverine releases on Blu-ray because I know you're all excited about that. There's a comet visible tonight, this upcoming morning after sunrise, but then it'll be visible again after the middle of the month, after sunset near the Big Dipper, which you know where that is, the handle of the Big Dipper. I could be wrong. Thereabouts. I'll try to get some pictures and video. Doubt it, but I'll try. And running a little dry here. Celebrities divorcing, people getting together, having babies like clueless morons. And I've only had to delete and block one person's comment on my life story share. I'm just letting you know who I am and how the hell I arrived to this point about seeing reality for the way it is, that we aren't changing course to save ourselves from the climate crisis at all. And all the wishful thinking and books of flowery words can't stop methane emissions, which are rapidly rising still. Do you know human nature? At this point, how can you stop someone from purchasing cookies and having children? It's such a primal urge. We have been corrupted with access to luxury goods, which are now being threatened as well if it isn't the climate. And Helene, which was 500 miles wide. I don't need to cover this. You guys have seen enough news coverage. It's happening. It's here. This port strike got violent this morning. Lots of frustrated drivers and soon-to-be customers. Everything from cars to canned goods, electronics. Oh joy, the holiday season. Did you notice all of the headlines, though, said impact to consumers? Never did it say citizens. That's changed since the 70s. I mean, we started being referred to as consumers and not citizens. Okay? So how do we revolt against the powers that may be and increase wages and workplace ethic? Can't. You have to form unions. But there's too many mentally ill, narcissistic psychopaths we work with that drag us down for everybody else. It takes the minority to ruin it for the majority. Not even a college degree will save you at this point. You know, we're 5 million houses short of housing everybody across the nation. Why people are living in cars with their pets. Just laugh about it. Smile about it all. That's all you can do. All right, just me and my old doomer self. I've had this shirt for like 5 years. I know it looks ratty, but it's just that, got one of those raggedy shirts you like to carry around. Okay, I'm talking personal. The world's on fire, and the permafrost basin is burning up along with Arctic and Russian wildfires, which also happened in Greece and killed 3 people. I also forgot to mention that the Helene's death toll is up to 140 or so. So if you made it this far, feel free to comment about anything I may have missed, which is a lot. Nothing will save us unless it's a fundamental rewiring of human brain. Okay? It was already over. Okay? And yes, I'm young-ish, but I want to experience older. Alright? If you really think that we'll be around in the next 15 years, you need to go back to school, study basic chemistry, and reread the peer-reviewed literature. The most up-to-date findings indicate that we're on track for a 3 degrees Celsius world. We already are aware that we're over 600 parts per million of CO2 equivalent gases in the atmosphere. I should reiterate that for the record because we're seeing temperatures rise all over and the knockoff effects of that. Okay, lots of doom and gloom. That's the reality we got thrust into. So, drink one or smoke one. Yeah, I'm advising that. And watch the debate. It's an occasion. Prepare now, as many channels are advising you to do. City Prepping has polls on their channel regarding what may happen in the upcoming election and how to prepare, as the channel is primarily dedicated to. You know that bald guy with the glasses? Well, all these bald guys, they just have it made. Some have everything. I'm just kidding. I have a lot. I'm really grateful. I am so blessed to be here, and I cannot restate that enough. Having the opportunity to be, I think, away from the city. I think often of living in the city and how emotionally, mentally dragged down I was. That alienation now, it'll get to you. It'll get to you. It got to the point, okay, I'm talking on the personal side of things, like, I felt like, I didn't act on this, attractive looking women in the city walking by bars. They would look at me, they would stare, right? Stare at me. I know something's up. I know that's the initiation. I should go approach them and say something. But we're smarter than that. And I revolt against the whole system. Let it burn. It hasn't worked out. Look at where we're going. Look at rising methane emissions and CO2 emissions. Look at the lobbyists piling against activists. Roger Hallam being sent to jail. I know, you could say what you will about him. He was trying to do something good. Alright? I'm a doomer at heart, but I can recognize someone seeing the truth. But like I said, I see these women and I think, I want to approach them and say, yeah, I see you looking at me, but there's no way we'd ever talk because there's no safe place to meet. There are no occasions. There's nothing to relate us. We are just men and women forced into slavery. Yeah, go down the Matrix speech. Like Morpheus. Take both pills. That's what Mr. Bean would do. Okay, I'm rambling now. Lots happening in the world. See it for what it is. This is the crash and burn. We don't have a viable energy source now, and certainly not in the future, to reconcile our way of being, our way of life, I should say. in first world countries especially, while China flounders about thinking of its Soviet downfall counterpart. Thanks for listening. In my last video, one could say that I overshared. I don't see it that way. I'm just telling it like it is, who you're watching. I got a few new subs. Welcome to the channel. This is a rant. What's happening in the world October 1st, and a little bit of data. Have a good week. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.